Hi everyone, in today's webinar, I will take you through the core modules part 2, and these are the modules that I've planned to cover today. It begins with examination, in which we will see how to create examination and how to give marks and how to generate reports. So the various types of examination that we'll be seeing, which includes normal examination, CCE, GPA, ICSE and CWA. The next is the option remarks. This module covers the remarks that the students will be getting from the employees or the teachers. We'll see how to give remarks for the students right here. The next one is the manage user option. Here, using this particular module manage user, you can change the privileges that is provided for the user and you can change the password. The next one is the finance module. This module covers the financial transactions and be it the fees collection and the payslip creation can be handled here. The next set of modules is the reports. So here in this report module, we see the reports option that is available in Fedina. So now let's begin with the first module, examination. Before beginning examination, I'm going to settings, administration and settings. In general settings, I need to select the grading system for my school. Say for example, my school has any of the grading system provided here, say GPA, which is nothing but grade point average. The next grading system is CWA, which is nothing but and CCA is the continuous and comprehensive examination, and ICSE is the Indian Certificate of Secondary Education. Based on the grading system my school has, I need to select the appropriate one. In case if any of these grading system is not applicable, that means the school is going to use the normal examination, which is based on the percentage scoring. So I'm selecting all. In that case, in case if you have a normal examination, you do not have to select any of this and you can update it. Once I've done the general settings, I'm going to academics, I'm going to examination. Right here, before creating examination, I need to do certain settings for the examination. So I'll begin with settings. Here I can view certain settings, say set grading levels, ranking levels and class designation. These three settings are applicable only for normal examination. And for CCA examination, there's a separate setting called CCE settings. Similarly, for ICSE examination, these settings is available right here. Similarly, we have a separate setting for GPA examination. Right now, let's begin with normal examination. For doing normal examination in the school, they need to begin with doing these settings right here. Let me go for set grading levels. Let me select a class. I can select the option, say select a particular batch, or I can go for the option common and have a common grading system for all the batches in my school. If not, I can select a particular batch, say like how I'm selecting, and I can add grades. Initially for beginner, there will be no grades here. When you start using Fedina, when you select the batch, there will be no grades here. And you need to add grades by going for the option add grades. Right now I've added these grades for my class. This is a particular batch having a normal examination, and I've given a grade name, say A plus, and I've given a minimum score of 90. So that means the students who are going to score 90 and above will be given a grade, say A plus. If I want to give any appropriate description, I can provide it right here and I can go for the option save. Similarly, I have created few more grades with the appropriate minimum score. I have set grading levels for all the grading system. Say for example, I have set grading levels for CCA examinations. CCA examination have two types of grades. Scholastic grades and co-scholastic grades. Right here, I have set grades for scholastic grades. I have given the grades to be A1 for the name A1 grade has a minimum score of 91, and I've given the description to be scholastic grades. Similarly, I've given other grades in for the same CC examination. It begins with A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, and so on. Let's see for the another examination, say CW examination or say GPA examination. For GPA examination, I've given a grading system that begins with A plus and it has a minimum score of 90. For GPA examinations are generally used in universities and colleges where you give the score to be in credit points. For that case, I've given a minimum score to be 90 and I've selected a credit point. I have entered a credit point to be 9. So a student who will be scoring a minimum of 90 or above will be given a credit point 9. And I've created few more grades based on the criteria. Say a grade name A with a minimum score 80 and a credit point 8. This is the grading system that I've created for GPA examination. And let me go ahead for ICSE. This particular examination has this kind of scores where we give a grade name to be A1 and a minimum score to be 91. Similarly, A2 with a minimum score 81 and B1 with a minimum score 71, so on. So these are the steps to be followed for setting grading levels. Once the grading levels are set based on the grading system that you're going to follow, for a normal examination, the next step would be to set the ranking levels. I need to set the ranking levels for which I'm selecting the particular class in which I'm going to follow normal examination. So right here I'm selecting the class 3 and I'm going to give the ranking levels. So let me give a name for the ranking levels, say top performer. And I need to enter a mark percentage. So it can be something 90%. So the students who is going to be called the top performer will be the student who will have at least 90%. So that is the target that I have in my school. For example, I have the target. I'm selecting the mark percentage to be 90 and mark limit type to be upper, lower or exact. That means at least 90%, at most 90%, exactly 90%. This is a criteria that I'm creating for a student to be called a top performer. So I'm selecting at least 90%. And now Farina is asking me the number of subjects in which the student has to score at least 90%. I can enter data to be 3 or 4 number of subjects. And again, I have the option to select subject limit type. It can be at least 3 subjects, at most 3 subjects, and exactly 3 subjects. Let me go for the option at least 3 subjects. So that means a student in class 3 will be called top performer if the student has scored at least 90% in at least 3 subjects. You can go for consider for all previous batches if you want that option to be available. You can enable it right here and create it. Right here, the ranking level is created. I can add another ranking level by giving a name for it and enter a percentage, say 80%, with the limit type to be lower and the subject number. It can vary depending on the institution. So right now I've done with creating ranking levels. Let me go ahead and do class designation. I'm selecting the particular class and I need to give the designation. Say I'm giving a designation called first class for the student who scored 80 and above. So let me give another designation, say second class. with a score to be 60% and above, and I can give one more class to be pass with a percentage to be 50%. I'm creating it. So right here I've done with creating class designation. I can move forward and see the other settings available in the CC and ICSE grading system, before which let me create an examination for normal exam and show you how can the examination be created, for which I'm going for the exam management right here. I'm selecting the class, say class 3. I can also go for class-wise examination, where I can select the class-wise examination option and select the particular class, where I'll get to select the batch for which I'm giving the examination. I can select the batch. I can give the name of the exam type, say in case if it's called term 1 or assessment 1 or unit test 1, it can be any of these, and I can select the exam type. Right now, as we selected normal examination, or we can go for these options, say marks, grades, marks and grades. In case if I want my students' reports to be visible in the form of marks and grades, or just grades or just marks, I can select any of it here. So right here I'm selecting marks and grades and I'm going for save. I need to enter the maximum marks and minimum marks right here so that it automatically creates for all the examination. I need to create the timetable for this exam term 1. I'm giving a start time for my exam and an end time. Right now I've created the timetable for term 1 examination. I'm giving save. The exam group has been created successfully. Now let's see for class 3 and for this particular batch, there is an exam called term 1 and the exam schedule can be published right here by selecting publish exam schedule. Now, as an employee or any of the teachers, I can enter marks from my login. So when I log into my account, I can enter the marks for the particular subject that I'll be taking in. As an admin, I can view all these subjects and I can enter the mark as well. So let me do it as an admin now. Let me enter mark for the English subject for these students. And let me give save. Once I enter the marks, the respective grades that we have created in the grading level pattern automatically gets displayed. In case if the student was absent, I can select the options absent here. Let me move forward and do for the other subjects as well. Right now I've entered marks for all the subjects in this examination. Now I can go for publish exam results. Once I've published the exam results, the results can be viewed by all the students and teachers. Now I can create one more exam by going for the option new and I can go for the option connect exam. So let me create one more test, say unit test, and give save, where I'm giving a maximum mark to be 20 and the minimum mark to be 80, and I'm setting an examination timetable. Once again, I'm creating a timetable for the new exam. By selecting the date and the exact time that I want to provide. Once I'm done with this, I can go and publish the scheduled report. So let me create it right now. I can go for publish exam schedule. Once this is done, I can enter the scores here by going for the subjects and entering the marks here. Now, for a normal examination, I have an option called Connect Exam. Here, I can enter the weightage that I'm going to provide for these examination. If I want to connect and give weightage for both these examination, I can enter the weightage here. We need to remember one more thing, that the total weightage has to be 100. So let me select both the exam. Let me give a weightage, say 80% weightage for term 1 and 20% weightage for term 2. Sorry, unit test. So right now the total weightage is about 100. I'm saving it. Once this is done, we can use the report center option or the generate report option to view the reports. So let me now go ahead with creating the next examination pattern, say CCA examination, for which we need to go for the settings, CCA settings. Right here in CCA settings, we need to begin with the basic settings. We've already given grading levels for CCA examination. The next step would be to begin with the basic settings here. Inside the basic settings, CCA grade sets is available. So let me begin with it. Here, I'm going to provide Course Scholastic grade set. Initially, I've provided Scholastic grade set. Here, I'm providing Course Scholastic grade set. For a beginner, like the first time when you're using Farina, you will not have these grade sets available. You need to create by going for new and give a name for the grade set that you're going to give, say Course Scholastic grade set or anything that can be given. Once the grade set is created, you need to add grades inside the grade set. Here I have added grade by going for the option add grade, where I've given the name of the grade and I'm given the grade point. It can be a 5-point grading system or a 9-point grading system. I have created grades by giving the grade name to be A and I've given a grade point to be 5. Similarly, I have created the grade set. Once the grade sets are created, let me come back and let's see the next one. This is CC exam categories. So I need to create exam categories under the CC examination. In CC examination, there will be two exam categories. Let me call it as term 1 and term 2. I need to create for the first time. So as I've already created, it's available here. When you create for the first time, you need to go for the option new and give the name of the exam category, say term 1 or can be called anything. The nomenclature depends on the school, and the next one to be term 2. Since these are the two exams that I'm going to provide for my CCA school, I'm giving these. Here again, CCA weightage has to be provided. So I have given these weightages right here. In CCA examinations for Scholastic grading system, there's two categories available, say FAs and SAs. FAs are given a weightage of 10% each, say let me say 10 each, and SAs are given a weightage of 30 each. So let me call it 10% of 10 FAs, another 10 FA, and SA having a weightage of 30. Now we can see that the total calculation sums up to be 50%. So for every term in CCA examination, this is the weightage that is provided for Scholastic grading patterns. Say for term 1, we will have this kind of weightage, and for once again for term 2, it will be the same. We will be creating FAs, we will be creating SAs, and we will give weightage for each. So we will be creating FAs and give a weightage of 10 each, and we will create SAs with a weightage of 30. Right now for this particular term 1, it will have a total weightage of 50, and for term 2, the total weightage of 50. For this academic year, the total percentage to be 100 will be calculated based on this particular weightage criteria. So let me go ahead and create these FAs and SAs here. So while I create, this will be blank. I need to create FAs and SAs here. So for which I need to give the weightage here. I need to give a weightage saying 10 for my FA. So for term 1, I have planned to give 10 percentage weightage for my FA for the term 1. So that is what I've created here. I've created the weightage 10 percentage for the FA from the drop down, and the exam criteria is term 1. So the first term I've created this, and I have also created another weightage criteria to be 30 for the type SA for the same term. We need to remember that in FEDINA we do not have to create FAs twice. For one particular exam category, FAs can be created once and SAs can be created once. It will automatically give the weightage by creating another FA. So for one particular exam category, say term 1, we need to create one FA and one SA. Similarly for term 2, I have created one FA and one SA with a weightage of 10, 30 respectively. Once after creating the CCE weightages, I need to assign these weightages to the subject that I have allotted. By doing this, later after the examinations are created and the exam results are published, the results will be calculated based on these weightages, for which I'm going for assign weightages. Here I need to select the class for which I am assigning this. Say class 1. And here it's asking me to select the weightages that I want to apply. Right now for this class, I'm going to give 2 examinations, term 1 and term 2. And for every term, these are the weightages that will be applicable. So let me select all the weightages and give save. Now once this is done, we can move forward to the course scholastic settings or scholastic settings. Let me do the course scholastic settings now. Under the course scholastic settings, we need to create course scholastic items. By going for course scholastic items, I have to create few observation groups. So course scholastics grades are nothing but they are not normal subjects. There are certain observation groups or any kind of examination the school want to give for the students. So these are some examples that I have created here already. So it begins with like thinking skills. I have created something called thinking skills. I have given a name of the observation group to be thinking skills, and I have given the description of it. I've also selected the CCE grade set. So for course scholastic grading system, I have given a 5-point grading system and I've created it here. So that's the reason it shows in the drop down. I'm selecting it, and the type of this observation group to be a course scholastic activity. So this particular thinking skill is an activity that I'm creating for the students. So I've given the name and I've updated it. Under the thinking skills, I'm creating the observations that I'll be making. Say I've given a name, say utilizing thinking skills to analyze, and I've given a description of it. Inside which I'm once again creating the descriptive indicator with a suitable name and a description, and I can choose for the option show in reports. If I'm enabling this option, this particular descriptive indicator will be available, will be explained in the reports that we will be generating for CCE examination. That is the purpose of selecting the option show in report. Once these indicators are created, we can do that for every observation group by creating an observation group, say analytical skills, inside which I've created an observation and inside which I've created a descriptive indicator. You can add more indicators by going for the option new indicator. So these are the course scholastic items that I have created for my school students, and I'm going to assign this for a particular batch. I can create as many as I want inside these items, and I can restrict it by assigning it for a particular batch, for which I can select the particular batch And now when I have 10 or 15 observation groups, I can select 2 or 3 for this particular class. Say I'm going for thinking skills and analytical skills. I'm going for safe. Now I've assigned these co-scholastic groups. Let me go forward and see scholastic settings. In these scholastic settings, I need to create FA items. So FA items are nothing but formative assessment items. As I've already told you, for scholastic grading system, we are providing with FAs and essays, and we will give a weightage for each. Right here, where you're going to create FA items here, I have created for every subject. FAs depends on the normal subjects that we will have for a class. Say I can create a new FA by going for the option new FA. I already given an FA for the subject English. I've given the FA to be named as FA1 and this particular exam category to be term 1. And now it's asking me to select the FA criteria calculation. Is it sum of the descriptive indicators or the average of the descriptive indicators? I've gone for the sum of the descriptive indicators. I'll explain you what was the FA calculation criteria later. Once I've done this, I'm updating it. Similarly, I'm creating for every subject. For every subject, say English, I'm creating 2 FAs. FA1 and FA2 for term 1. So that is what is the criteria for calculating for term 1. So I'm creating 2 FAs for term 1 and 2 FAs for term 2. For every subject, I'll do the same. I'll create 2 FAs, say FA1 and FA2 for term 1 and FA3 and FA4 for term 2. So right now, once I've done with creating these FA groups, I need to go inside the FA group and I need to create FA criteria. Based on these criteria, the FA group will work and the marks that is scored for these FA criteria will be considered for adding weightages for these FA groups and providing the report. Right here, I've created a FA criteria, say naming essay for English, and while creating, I have given the description and the maximum marks. So I have given the FA criteria name, I've given a maximum mark, I've given a formula key, say A. I can create one more criteria by giving a name for the particular FA criteria, say story writing, and I can go for the maximum mark to be 100 or even less than that, and now I'm giving a formula, say B. Now the FA group calculation can be anything. I can change it. By default is sum, and now I'm changing the edit formula, and here you can see the FA criteria that I've created. For this indicator A is essay and for this indicator B is story writing. And here you have an other options that is available. So any other kind of formula calculation that you want to go for, average of both the indicators, best of both the indicators. You can have more than 1 or 2 indicators and you can enter the indicators right here with a formula. Right now I've given an indicator formula, say A plus B, and I'm creating it. So that means the student will be scored for these indicators and this particular score will be calculated based on the FA group calculation that we give. Any formula that we give will help them calculate the FA1 score. Similarly, I have created FA criteria inside every FA groups. So for every subject, I'm going to create FA group. Say I'll have 4 FA groups for a particular academic here. And for every FA group, I can have as many FA criteria as I want. And I can provide a FA group formula calculation with a formula. I can change the formula for every FA group. So once these FA groups are created, I need to assign these FA groups by going for assign FA items, for which I need to select a particular class. I need to select a particular English subject. Say these are the subjects that I'll have. I'm selecting a subject. Now I need to select the FA groups that are created and assign it to the subject English in this class. So I'm assigning these. So these are the ones that I created for the subject English. Now I can save it. Similarly, I need to do for all these subjects that I have. Say for Max, I'm saving it. I'm selecting the last one, Science. I'm assigning the criterias and I'm saving it. Once I've done with these settings, I can create examination by going for examination in exam management. I need to select the particular class that has CC examination. Here, this particular class has CC examination. I've named it so that I can understand right here. So you can name as per your convenience in your school. Let me open. Here I need to create a new examination. Say the exam criteria that I've given, say term 1 and term 2, for which I need to give a name of the exam to be term 1 or anything. And I'm just select the exam criteria. Now I'm giving the maximum mark and a minimum mark, and I'm scheduling the exam. So let me schedule it by providing a timetable here. I'm selecting the start date and the end date of the examination. Right here, I've selected the timetable schedule and I'm saving it. Now you get the option of publish exam schedule. And once this is selected, the exam schedule is published. And as an employee or as an admin, I can select the particular subject and enter marks for the students here. So let me enter a mark here. So once I enter the mark and save, I can see the grades that I've assigned for these marks in the grading system is created here. For every particular subject, say under term 1 for the subject English, there is an FA score. This particular FA criteria that we created are shown here. So when I go for the FA score, for the particular term 1, I have created two FAs, FA1 and FA2. Each will be having a weightage of 10. When I select one particular FA, I can view the option of entering exams for them. So I can enter the scores for the students. Similarly, I can go for the subjects here and enter the scores in FA score. This is all about Scholastic grading system. Right now, if I want to go for Core Scholastic result entries, I can go for Core Scholastic result entries. I need to open these Core Scholastic result entries. And here, these are the descriptive indicators that we created under the group analytical skills. Under the Core Scholastic group analytical skills, I created these descriptive indicators. So here, I can select the student name. I can enter the grade point. We've given a 5-point grading system for this particular Core Scholastic exams. So I'm going to enter a grade between 1 to 5. I'm saving it. I can do the same for every student and every Core Scholastic criteria that we've created here. So once we're done with entering this course, we can go for publish exam schedule and we can view the results in the report. Right now, let me go for settings and go for the next option, ICSE settings. I'm going for the ICSE settings. Since we're done with CCE settings, let me show you how to create ICSE exam criteria. Inside ICSE exam criteria, I have created two exam criteria. So initially, Fedina will not have any options here. We need to create a new one by going for new and give a name for the exam criteria, give a description and select the option if I want to go for a detailed student report. I have given the name term 1 and I have given the detailed student report to be displayed. So I'm given S. I'm updating it. Once we're done with creating exam category, we need to give ICSE weightages. Inside ICSE weightages, I have created these weightages name. So these are the weightages that will be useful for my school. So I'm going to have a normal subject. I'm going to have a co-curricular subject in my ICSE examination. And I'm going to conduct exams for them. And the weightage that I'll be giving will be based on these, say, EA weightages and IA weightages, each having a weightage of 80 and 20. For a normal subject. For a co-curricular subject, I'll give an weightage, say 100% for IA weightages. So if this is how I want my ICSE examination conducted for my school, I'm creating these weightages right here. So for creating a new one, when you start using Farina, you will have to create a new one. So for that, you need to go for the option new. You need to give the name of the weightages, say primary normal subject or any normal subject, co-curricular subject. So I've given the name primary normal subject. The nomenclature can be something like normal subject, and you can need to select the exam criteria. So which term does it fall for? This particular exam criteria, which particular exam does it fall for? Term 1, and I need to select the EA weightages. External assessment is the full form of EA and internal assessment is the full form of IA. So external assessment weightage will be 80% for normal examination and internal assessment weightage will be 20% for normal examination. And I want my report marks to be in grades. If I want to have it as a grade and mark or mark, I can select any of these. And now Farina is asking me if this particular name that I've created is a co-curricular subject or not. If it is a co-curricular subject, I can go for the option yes. If it is not, I'm going for the option no. Since this is a normal subject, I'm going for the option no and I'm updating it. I'm creating the same for the next exam criteria, say exam 2. For exam 2, I'm creating with a name primary normal subject. I'm giving an weightage to be 80 and 20 for external assessment and internal assessment, and I'm giving the report mark type, and again I'm selecting no since this is a normal subject. For co-curricular subject, I'm creating for both the terms, term 1 and term 2, by providing the external assessment weightage to be 100% and internal assessment need not have to have a weightage. And now I can select the option co-curricular to be yes. That means I'm letting Farina know that this particular subjects which fall under this criteria will be the co-curricular subjects and will have this kind of a weightage. Once I've created these ICSE weightages, I need to assign these ICSE weightages for the classes that I've created to let Farina know that this particular subject will be an co-curricular or a normal subject. Right here, I'm going for assign weightages. I'm selecting a class and I'm selecting a subject. So this subject is a normal subject. So I'm going for primary normal subjects. I'm selecting for both the terms. For this academic here, I'm selecting and I'm updating here. I'm selecting the other subject, which is once again a normal subject, and I'm updating here. In case if I have another co-curricular subjects like arts, music, I can select the particular subject and assign the primary co-curricular subject option here. Once I assign it in these settings, let me create internal assessment groups. For every subject, I will be having internal assessment, be it a co-curricular subject or an normal subject. I need to create it right here by going for the option new, where I need to enter the name of the IA group that I'm going to create. Say I have already created one IA group for my subject. I'm giving the name, group name to be IA for the term 1 English. I'm selecting the exam category to be term 1. Right here under these IA groups, I am giving the indicator, say name essay. So essay writing will be marked for a maximum mark of 100 and this indicator is represented with the letter A. Similarly, another FI criteria is created here with an indicator B and I'm giving a maximum mark to be 100. The maximum mark depends on the mark that the school wants to provide for this particular criteria. Here you can see the indicator list and once again we can provide the formula that we want to give. So these are the formulas that can be applicable. There can be more than one or two indicators. You can add more indicators by going for the option add indicators. You can select one of the appropriate formula for this indicators. I have given a plus b and I've updated it. I've done the same for term 2 and I'm doing the same for maths. So again, I'm creating the name for maths. I'm giving the name of the indicators with A and B. I'm giving a maximum marks as well. I'm giving a formula. I'm updating it. So once we are done with creating these internal assessment group, the next step would be to assign these internal assessment groups. I'm going to assign internal assessment. Once again, I need to select the class and subject. By selecting the subject, I need to assign the internal assessment group that is applicable by enabling it here. I'm enabling right here. I'm saving it. For the subject max, let me assign the one that I've created. These are the one that I've created and I'm saving it here. Once I've done with creating these internal assessment group and assigning IA groups, and that's all about ICSE settings, the next step would be to create examination in exam management, for which I need to select the particular class for which ICSE examination is conducted. Here I need to go for creating examination by going for the option new. Here I can give the name of the exam. It can be anything like assessment 1 or term 1 or test 1 or examination 1. Here once again I'm selecting the criteria that I've created already. I'm giving save. Let me give a maximum mark and a minimum mark and give a timetable here. I'm selecting the start and end time so that I can mark the examination in that particular time duration. So once I've selected it, I'm giving save. Now the exam is scheduled. I can go for the publish exam schedule. For entering the scores, once the exams are published and the exams are conducted, I can come back here and go for the term 1 and go for the particular subject and I can enter scores right here. So the scores that I enter here will be considered as external examination. So any score that will be here will be calculated for an EA weightage. So let me enter a score here and I can go for IA scores here. Once when I go for IA scores, these are the IA indicators that I have created for the subject max. So for this indicator quiz, I've given a particular indicator name and I've given a formula so that this particular IA score will be calculated. So let me give a mark here and give save. You can select the particular student and do the same. Now let me do the same for the other subject, English, and save it. I'm going for IA scores and I'm entering for this first student. Let me do the same for the next student. We've done with entering the scores for the term 1. Similarly, we can create one more term and create exam schedule to publish these scores. That's all about ICSE examination and the ICSE settings. We have another option that is left out to do was GPA settings. This is applicable for GPA examination. The difference between GPA examination and CWA examination is that in GPA, we provide grades, so credits in points, credit points. For CWA, the credit points will be given as a credit hour. So here, for GPA exam settings, I'm setting this particular GPA average formula. You can see this is the CGPA calculation format that can be used for calculating for GPA examination. So I can select this particular formula and I can give and submit. Here by using credit hours, if I want to do it, I can go for this option. Once this option is created, I can create exam in exam management, for which I need to select the particular class that has GPA examination. I need to create an exam by going for new exam. Here I need to enter the name of the exam, say term 1. I need to enter the exam type. For GPA examination, the only exam type, say marks and grades, is available. I'm selecting it, I'm giving save. Again, I need to create the timetable. Let me select a start and end date. Once the start and end date is selected, I can go for save and publish the exam schedule. Here you can see for this particular subject, we just need to enter the marks and save it. That's all about doing for GPA examination. We need not have to do any settings. We just have to select the formula and create exam. Right now we're done with creating exams for all the grading system that is available in FEDINA. Now we will see the other options like report centers that we have. We can go for generate report option here. For the normal examination that we've conducted and any GPA examination that we've conducted, we can go for the generate report option. Here I need to select the class that is I want to create report for. For example, I want to create report for class 3. I am giving generate. So it will take few seconds to generate the report. We can go for the next one, which is report center. Here you can see a list of options available. But these list of options, the first set of options, these will be available only for normal examination. When you have a normal examination, you can view these reports, say exam wise report, subject wise report. These are applicable only for normal examination. Let me show you few reports. You can analyze that later. So I need to select a particular batch. So I'm selecting a batch C3. I'm selecting the exam. So these are the exams that I've conducted for this particular exam, particular class, say class 3. I'm selecting a particular term. I'm giving view. Here you can see an exam wise report. For this student, Dia, you can see the subject she has taken part, the subject she has, and the amount, the maximum mark and the maximum mark she has scored. And you can see the grades and you can see the percentage as well. You can view the class percentage and the class average marks. Here there's a graph that represents her score with the class average. You can go for a PDF report or you can even add remark right here. You can also view a consolidated report by going for consolidated report option. Here you can see the list of students, the admission number, the score they have scored for every subjects and the percentage. You can go for a report option by selecting any of these. Similarly, the few other report options in the report center like subject wise report where you get to see the reports based on the subjects. Say English, I'm selecting and I'm viewing it. I can see the score they have scored for the particular subject. Say English, they've scored 98 and 67 and 98. So this is how this report works. There are few other options to view. Say ranking level reports, combined reports. Here there's an option called view transcript. So any report that is generated in report, the option generate report will be viewed under the view transcript option. So we can select a particular class that we want to view for and we can go for the view option. Here you can see for the one exam that I've created, I can see the report. I can select the name of the student, I can see the percentage the student has scored and the class designation that she has got. So this is a combined percentage, this is a class-wise combined percentage and the designation. You can select another student and view the same for them. You can go for add remarks, which will be displayed here. For CC's examination, the only report that will be applicable is the CC reports. When you go for CC reports, you can generate a report by selecting generate reports. You can select this particular class and go for particular batch and generate it here. You can view a report right here. So let me show you a report that I've created. So for the standard 5, this is the CC examination that I've conducted. And for the term 1, I can see these are the subjects that I've taken, and I have given an FA score, FA 1 and 2, and here SA 1 score is available. So the weightage based on which we've provided is used for calculating the scores patterns, grading patterns here. So we've given a 10 weightage for FA1 and 10 weightage for FA2 and 30 weightage for SA1. So based on these weightages, the score they've scored is calculated for the term 1 and for term 2 respectively. Both these scores together is calculated as an overall grade with a grade point. Here you can see the cumulative grade point average, and here you can see the core scholastic activity grades. So these are the activities that are created, say thinking skills, analytical skills, and visual skills. And these are the observations that I have provided. And I wanted to view it in my report, so it is getting displayed here. And these are the grade that the student has scored. Here you can select another student and you can view his marks as well. You can go for a PDF report or a CSV report. Here you can go for the assessment-wise report or subject-wise report, for which you need to select a particular class, and you need to select a particular batch and a particular subject and view. You get to see the detailed subject-wise report right here. Similarly, an assessment-wise report can be seen. The next report center would be ICSE reports. Here you can generate a report by going for selecting the particular class in the batch and go for generate. Once it is generated, you can view it in the view student report option. The other options, just like CC examination, say subject-wise report and consolidated report. You can go for subject-wise report, select a particular batch, select the subject that we want to view for, select the internal score or any particular criteria that we have, and go for the option view. Here we can see the score that they have for this particular student, and we can go for the CSV report or a PDF report if required. So that's all about examination module. So we've done with the examination module. Let me move forward to the next module, remarks. Under academics, I have an option remarks. Here I can add custom remarks by going for the add custom remark option. Here I can select the class. Say for example, for the class 3, I'm selecting the batch. And here, these are the students that are available in this particular class. I can give a subject. Say for this custom remark, I'm going to comment about, or I'm going to give a remark about any particular subject, say examination that is being conducted now. And I can enter as an employee, I can enter my name here. Say I can enter the name of the employee or admin. As an admin, I'm entering the name here. And I'm entering remarks for each student. I have viewed the student report. Now I'm entering the remark for the student. Say good performance or good performer. Once I'm done with it, I'm going for the option finish. Now the remark has been added for the students in standard 3. So the class 3 students, you can view who are the standard, so class 3 students. Let me go for class 3. A section. So these are the students for whom the remarks were entered. So the remarks can be viewed from their profile as well. So let me go to their profile by logging in the admin as by giving the username of the student and providing a password. So let me type in the password of the student. Now, since the first time login, I'm entering another password. And here when I go for the option, their profile, and then I see the more option, I can find the option remarks. Here I can see the admin has commented about my examination saying good performer, and I can see the date in which the admin has commented. So this is the remark that can be viewed, or every employee will have the privilege. So in case if this employee is taking class for this student Dia, that employee or the teacher will have the privilege of entering remarks. This is how remarks can be viewed. So let me log in as an admin. That's all about remarks. Let's move forward for the next one, manage users. When you select administration, you find an option called user. Here I can search for a particular user, say any particular employee name, or I can view all by going for view all. Here I get to select the role. Say for example, any particular user, it can be a student or a parent or employee. I can view their profile here. Let me select an employee. Let me select a department in which they belong to. Say this particular employee profile I want to view, and I can view it by going to the option view profile. I can make any changes as an admin, or any privileged employee can make changes. Here I can change the password of this particular employee, or I can edit the privilege by going for the option edit privilege. Initially when I created this employee, I have given these privileges, and right now if I want to make any changes to these privileges, I can make changes by selecting it right here. Once I've done, I'm going to give save. The same can be done to all the users. Changing password for the user is right here applicable by going for the manage users option. So let's move forward to the next module, finance module. We find the finance module in administration, finance. Here the first option that we have is the fees. So let's see how to create fee structure, how to schedule the fee, and how to collect money from the student. We can view defaulters right here. So I'm going for the option fees, and here I can create my fee. So the fee structure that I want to create for a particular class or a particular batch of students, I can do it right here, for which I'm going for the option create fee. These are the options and these are the columns I need to do certainly before creating or completing the creation of fee structure. I'm going for create category. Here I need to create a master category of fee. I'm giving the name, say term fee for class 3. Let me give a description as the same, and I can select the same fee structure to be applicable for more than a batch. In case of this particular term fee applicable for all the batches, I can select all, or if it's specific for any of the batches, I can select the batches names here. Right now I'm selecting it for class 3. Once I'm done, I'm saving it. Inside this particular category, say term 1, I need to have particulars, say admission fee, tuition fee, or exam fee. So these are the particulars that I might be creating for my school. It might differ with institutions. So you can create your own particulars by going for the option create particular. Here all you have to do is give the name of the particular. The particular is nothing but the type of fee that you have. Say book fee, uniform fee, trip fee. So I am giving an particular name to be admission fee, and let me give the description as the same of required. Here now I'm selecting the category that I created. I created a category called term fee for class 3. So I'm selecting it. These are the batches that I've created. Now if I want all the batches that I've created to have this particular term admission fee, I can select it right here. And if I can go for another option for creating this particular for all the students in the batch or based on any criteria, say admission numbers or student criteria, I can select it here. So any student category, say staff children or any other category, say sibling category, can be applied here. So when I select the student category, it's asking me to select the student category. When I select this category, the student who fall under this particular category will have this particular and there's fee structure. Now I'm going for all. If I want to go for admission number, I can go for admission number and enter the admission numbers of the students separated by a comma. I've selected all and I'm selecting the amount that has to be paid. I need to enter the amount. So let me enter the amount 5,000 and I'm creating it. Right now I've created a particular. Let me create one more particular here. Say tuition fee. And applying it in the particular category that I want to give first. So say term fee for class 3 and all. I need to enter the amount, say 4,000, I'm creating it. So these are the particulars that can be viewed under the category. So for class 3, we created this fee structure. We can see for class 3, this is the fee category that is available under which these are the particulars that has been created. Say admission fee and tuition fee with an amount and the created date. You can make any changes or edit it only till you is being scheduled or is being paid by the student. I can add more particulars right here by going for this option add particular. Once I'm done with this, I can create discounts for this particular fee structure. I can go for create discount. I can select a discount type. So it can be for the students, all the students in the batch, or it can be for a particular student, or it can be for a student category. So if I'm going to give a student category, I need to select the student category for which this particular discount is applicable for. If I'm providing it for a particular student, I need to select the student and I need to enter the student who this discount is applicable. Else, I can go for the batch. This means that the batch that we are applying this fee structure will have this discount. So every student belonging to that batch will have the discount. Here I need to give a name for the discount. Say discount. And select a fees category. So this particular discount will be applicable for the fees category that I'm creating here. Say term fee for class 3. And it's asking me, is this discount for batches of this category or particulars of this category? I'm providing this particular discount to be applicable for the batches. That means the students will, all the students belonging to this batch will have the discount. And if I go for particulars, that means it is only applicable for students who are paying the particular. So I'm going for batches. I'm selecting the batch. Here I get to choose the percentage more or the amount. So if I'm going for percentage, I can enter a percentage, say 20% of discount, 30% of discount. Amount, I need to enter the value here, say 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees. So let me enter the amount, say 1,000 rupees. So for all the students belonging to this batch will have a discount of 1,000 rupees and I'm creating it here. So fees discount is successfully created here. Once the discount is created, the next option is to generate fine. If you want to create fine for the students who are paying after the due date, you can do it right here. You need to give a name for it. Say any name. Say fine for term fee. And I can enter the dates after the due date. Say go for the option and enter the fine amount. Say for example, after the due date, after the first date of due date, I want my students to pay a fine of rupees 100 or rupees 50, I can enter days after due date to be 1 and enter 50 rupees. I can add more fine slabs here by going for another fine slab, but again I will say the days after due date, say 2 days after the due date, the students will be asked to pay a fine of rupees 100. It can be different. I can change it as well, say 2 days or 3 days after the due date, the students will be asked to pay a fine. The fine amount can be in percentage or it can be in amount. So if it's amount, I'm entering the amount here. If it's percentage, I'm entering the value, say 2% or 3% of the fee structure. So once I'm done with this, I'm creating it. Right now, the fine for the fee has been created. Once I'm done with creating this fee structure, the next step would be to schedule the fees collection date. So creating fees can be done pre-hand, like sometime before, but scheduling has to be done just before the exam fee or any kind of fee that has to be collected. Say I can give the date for which the fees collection has to be done. So here I am creating a fees collection. Here I am selecting the category, the one that I've created, say term 1 fee for class standard 3 or class 3, any category that I've created in the fees master category. And here I need to give the name for the fees collection, say term 1 fee, and I can select the fine option that I've created here. So if this is the fine that I've created for this particular standard, I can enter it here. You can see that I've given for the first day, there's 2% of the amount that I need to pay as a fine. For the second day, once again, I'm paying 2% of the amount. Here I need to select the start date, end date, and due date for this fees collection. I can select the date by going to the calendar and giving a start date. Let me give an end date and let me give a due date as well. Once I'm done, I can create. Now the fees collection is scheduled. It'll take few minutes to be scheduled. You can view the fees collection that is done by going for view option, and you can go for manage fees collection as well. You can go for view and select a particular batch, say any particular batch, and see their fees collection. So here for this particular batch, I've already created a fees for say term 1. When I select it, I can see the particulars that is existing and the amount that needs to be paid and the date of creation. Here you can see the start date, end date, and due date. This is the place where you want to view the fees collection that has been done. Once the schedule fees is done, you can go for collect fee and you can go for various options. Say fees collections which is done in batches, fees collection for each student, or particulars wise fee payment. Right here I'm going for fee submission by batch. So if I want to collect, if I've collected for batches and I'm going to apply it here, I can view all the students in the particular batch. So I'm doing it for class 3 and let me choose the particular master fee that I've created, term 1 fees. Here you can see the list of students. So the students available in that particular batch, and I can see their fee structure with the discount that is applicable. I can select another student if required. So I'm selecting the student and I can go for the option pay fee. I can also select the payment mode right here, and any payment mode that I want to provide can be entered here and I can provide the fee here. I can also go for the print receipt option where we get to see the fees receipt. Here you can see the name of the student, admission number, the class and the batch they belong to, and the particulars in detail with the amount that is collected and the discount with the summary of the amount. Here you can see the payment history as well. So let me show you how to make particular wise fee payments. So in case if the student wants to pay an installment or pay any particular right now and want to pay the others later, they can go for this particular wise fee payment where the student name has to be entered here. So for example, the student who belong to this class 3. So these are the students who belong to this class. See, right now I've paid this fee for the student Nathan and I want to pay a particular wise fee payment for Dia. So let me go for particular wise fee payment and I need to enter the name of the student or the admission number. So let me go for this student. Let me select this particular fee and here you can see the fee structure. So here I can go for paying any particular. I can apply my discount. So here there's a discount of rupees 1000. I can apply this discount, say 1000 rupees in both the particulars or in any one particular, but I need to apply all the 1000 rupees before I pay the fee. So let me add discount or apply discount right here by going for this 1000 rupees. So once I'm done with the discount amount, I can enter, I can see, and I can enter the amount that I want to pay, say 4000 rupees, and I can go for pay fee. Here, once this is done, the fees is paid. This is a particular wise fee payment. When I go for print receipt, you can see the partial payment receipt that I've given for the student and the amount that they are pending to pay. See, the payment done for 3000 and the amount to pay is 5000. Here you can see the detail about the receipt number, the payment date, and the particulars that they've been having. That's all about collect the fees option. So once the fee collection is done, you can see the fee structure as such here in this option for all the fee structures that is available in Farina. And the fee defaulters, the ones who have not paid the fee, the students who have not paid the fee can be viewed under the fee defaulters option. Here I can select the class, say particular class 1. I can select the batch and I can select the fee collection date or any particular fee structure. I can see the number of students who have not paid the fee. Right here I can go for the option pay fee and pay the fee for the student. I can also see a PDF report option. Now if I want to take a PDF report of this student defaulters, fee defaulters, I can go for this PDF report. Once I'm done, let's see the next option, fees refund. So at any case, when you want to refund a fee for a student, you can go for this refund option. Let me go for fees refund. Before applying or viewing the refund, you need to create a refund rule, for which I need to go for the fees collection that I've created. A refund can be applicable only when a fees collection or any kind of fees collection is done. So let me select the fees collection that I've done for the students. So for class 1 that I've created or any class I've created will be seen here. So I'm selecting any one of these particular, say for example, I'm doing this term 1 fee that I've created today and I'm giving a refund name. So for example, refund, and I'm selecting the refund validity date and I can select the type or to be percentage or the amount. If I'm going to give a percentage, I need to enter the value, say 2% or 10% of the fee collection to be refunded to the students. It is only applicable for students who have paid the fee completely. So I'm giving the percentage to be 10% and I'm creating it. I can also go for the amount and enter the amount, say 1000 rupees or 2000 rupees. I can create it right here. Once the refund rule is created, I can apply the refund rule by going for apply refund. Here I need to enter the name of the student. So let me enter the name of the student by searching the name of the student. Here for the student Nitin, who we have paid the fee completely, we can select the fees collection and we can refund 10%, which is nothing but 800 rupees of the amount. So based on the total fee collection, the percentage will be calculated and it's considered to be 800 rupees here. So I'm refunding it. I can go for any description. Say reason for the refund, I'm giving refund. Now the refund is successfully done. You can also view the refunds that has taken place in the institution by going for a start date and end date, and I can view the report here. So these are the reports. So these are the refunds that I've done in this particular duration. The last option under the fee category is that student fees headwise report. I can view the headwise report, fee headwise report. It can be a batch-wise report or a fees collection-wise report or a student-wise. I can go for batch-wise if I want to. I can select a particular batch, or I can view for all the students right here. I can view the name. I can view the batch they belong to, the fees collection that is applicable to them, the amount to be paid, and the amount they have paid. The detailed description of their particulars and their discount are showed here. You can select a particular class, you can select a particular batch and search. So the students who belong to the batch will be shown here with their fees collection. Similarly, an headwise fees collection wise payment report can be seen here, or a student wise report where I can search for a student. I can view the fees collection that is done. So the amount that has to be paid and the amount that is paid with the detail of the particulars and discounts are shown here. It's all about fee structures in finance module. Let's see the next one. So since you're done with this, let's see the next option that is available here. Here there's an option called category. Inside this category, by default, Fedina has created few categories here. So these are the categories that Fedina has created. Say these are the kind of finance category that can be applicable for all these schools. So these are the one that I have created here to show you how to create. So for example, there might be certain financial categories or financial transactions that is happening in school for uniforms, pantry, lunch, goods, and books for students. So I have created these by going for the option create finance category. When I create a new one, I need to give the name of the category, I need to give a description, and now it's asking me, is this under incomes? So Fedina is asking me if this particular category name is under the income category or if it's an expense. In case if it's an expense, I can disable it. Since books for students is an income for the school, I'm enabling it and I'm updating it. Similarly, the usages for the school can be created here. Based on the usages, the particular category can be created here. Here you can view the transactions that is taking place. We have an option of adding expenses and adding income. You can add the expenses that's happening in the school by giving a title for it. Say what is the expense that has happened. Say I have made a purchase or any kind of payment. I've made a payment for X and I'm giving a description, detailed description of it required. I'm entering an amount, say 5,000. So if this is an expense that is made to the institution, I'm entering it here, I'm entering the date, and I can select any of these from the categories that I have created. So what kind of category does it fall under? Is it based on any inventory, pantry? Right here I'm adding it to goods and I'm saving it. Expenses can be added to the transaction module by going for the option new expense, and it can be saved here. You can also add your income right here by giving a name. So in case if there is a sale made, some kind of sales, I can sales for art gallery. So I can enter the description of it and I can enter a value right here. Say for example, there is some for 1,000 rupees a sale is done and the category in which it falls under can be selected and I can save it. So these transactions can be viewed in the transaction. Here you can see the reverted transactions. Any transaction that is reverted can be viewed here. You can select the categories and search so the reverted transactions can be viewed. These transactions that is happening can be viewed in the financial report. So let's go to the financial report. I'll show you the report options where you can select the start date and the end date. So for example, let me select a start date and let me select the end date as today's date and I'm giving display report. Now you can see the expenses and income that has happened in the school. Here you can see the expense the school has made, say salary account, and the donation which is considered to be an income, and here it adds to the income. The fees account once again adds amount to the income. The books for students which is sold to the student adds rupees 10,000 as an income for the school, and pantry goods are certain expenses that is happened, so certain purchase that is being made here added. The lunch amount which is considered to be an income. Once again, a refund that is being made is an expense for the school. The grand total is available here. You can see the financial transaction as a graph. So it represents the individual particulars with the amount. You can go for a PDF report or a CSV report right here. We are done with the finance report and the transactions. Let's see the others available, say donation. We have a separate module in this called donation where we can add the donations that is happening in the institution. Right here I can select the date, say any start date and end date, and I can say search where I can see the donations that has happened. Here I can select a particular donation and I can view the donor name, the description, the amount the donor has paid. I can add another donor or another donation by going for new. Here I can add a donor name, say ABC, and I can give a description. What was the donation for? Any kind of description, I can enter the date and I need to enter the amount. And I can add it right here. So this particular donation will be visible here. You can also add additional fields. So any fields that you want the admin to enter while entering the donation. So detail or contact number of the donor can be entered here. So these fields has to be created here. For example, let me create the contact number field. If I want this particular field to be displayed in the donation option, I'm going for this field. Like let me create the field. If I want to make it mandatory, I can create it mandatory. The input method can be text box, text area, any of these. Right now it's a number, so I'm giving a text box and I'm giving create. So let me create it here. So the contact number that I've created will be seen when I create a donation. While I make a donation and I enter the details here, it's asking me to enter certain additional details. Since this particular field is not mandatory, I can skip it also. That's all about donations. The next one is payslip. Here I can view the payslip that is being created or generated by the HR department. In the HR module, the HR employees will have the privilege of creating a payslip for every month for every employee. Once it's created, it will be available in the finance module. As a finance person, I can view the payslip here. I can select all the month. Say for this particular, so all the department for this particular month, say May, I'm viewing it. Here I can view the list of payslip that has been created for this month. I can see the status saying pending and approved. It means that I've already approved. As a finance person, I've already approved it. The pending status denotes that as a finance person hasn't applied or hasn't approved for the payslip. Let me view the payslip right now. I can view the payslip. If I find any errors, I can reject it. If I find this payslip to be perfect, I can go for the option approve. I can go for the option approve here and enter a remark saying it's approved and submit. Here the status is changed to approved. So let me reject a payslip and show you how it works. So here I can reject a payslip in case if there's an error. I can type in a comment, say reject payslip. Now the payslip has been rejected. It can be viewed by the HR person and can be made changes to the payslip, and those one new created payslip will once again be sent back to the finance person. It will once again be available in the finance module. At cases where I want to go for one click approve payslip, I can go for this option, one click approve payslip. When I select it, all the payslip that has been created for the month will be approved. So we've done with all the modules. The last one that is pending is assets and liability management. This is used for entering the data of the asset and liability that is available in the institution. It doesn't add value to our transaction report, but then as a school, they can have track of the assets and liability by adding it here. So when I go for the asset, I can create and view my assets. I can create a new asset by going for the create option. Here I need to enter the title, description, and amount for which the asset is valued for. I can view the asset that I've created here. So I've created few assets here. I've given the name. I've created on this particular date with a total amount, say 6,000, 50,000. I can edit it or delete it. I can also go for a PDF report. The next option is the liability. Once again, I can create a liability by giving a title and the amount. I can view the liability that my organization has by the option view. And here I can see the liabilities available that has been created in these date and the amount. I can go for option edit or delete. So that's all about finance module. Let's go for the last one, reports. You can find the reports module in data and reports, the option reports. Here we can see there are various options to get reports for. See here we can see the options class, batch, students and employees. When I select this option class, I can view the list of classes that I have created in Fedina. I can go for an export as CSV option. I can even select in the class and view the batches inside it. Once again, I can select a batch and view the students who are present. I can have a detailed report of it, say how many students on the whole and how many male students and how many female students. This can be done for every batch. The next is the batch option. Once again, we get to see the batches that is available and the detailed report. Here I can see the list of students available in my school. So these are the students, their admission number, their roll number, the admission date, the batch and they will belong to, the class name and the gender, if they have paid their fees or not. You can go for an export as CSV option. Similarly, employee report can be viewed here. The list of employees, the employee ID, the department, position and manager are displayed here. So the reporting manager names can be seen here and the gender as well. There's certain other reports available, say class batch detail. So when I go for class batch detail, I can view the class and batch detail. Similarly, I can go for a former student detail. I need to select a start date and an end date so that I get to see the former student present in this particular duration. In case if there is any former student, I can find them in this particular report. Similarly, a former employee who has left the institution can be seen in this report. I can go for subject detail. Say I can see the number of subjects that is available in every batch, and is it elective or not? Does this subject has an exam or not? So I can even filter it based on the subject type. Say it can be a normal subject that I want to view for a particular class. I can select the class, I can select the subject type, and I can give a search. You can also view an employee subject association details. So these are the employees and the department and the subject they've been assigned to, with a detailed description of the batch to which the subject belongs to. I can go for a CSV report. The employee payslip details can also be viewed here. So this is the payslip of the employee. In case if I want to view it, I can select the employee profile. I can view it here. Here I can see the total and the individual particulars for each employee. I can go for a CSV report. If I want to view for a particular department, I can select a particular department and view a set of employee payslip. The few other reports here, say fees defaulters, which we've already seen, fees collection details, student fee headwise risk report, and student fee defaulter detail. We can also go for an exam schedule detail. So where we get to see the exam that has been scheduled, the start time and the end time, the maximum and the minimum marks, and the exam type, and the batch and the class that for which the exam is applicable. That's all about reports module. We are done with all the modules that we have planned to cover today.